Welcome friends. Today's video is for January Stamp Club and we're going to be doing two cards today. This one is a flat side fold. It has one panel here that is glued to the inside of the card, so it's got a smaller opening. It's kind of like a book. The other card is a square spring card and it stands up this way and wobbles a little bit, but it's done with designer series paper. Has this place to sign on the back. The first card we're going to do is the flat edge card. This one I colored with colored pencils, and this one I colored with blends. You can do either way. If you want to know what colors I used for the colored pencils, I can send you a picture. And also for the blends, I'll send you a picture with the names of the colors. So the designer series paper we're featuring today is the Celebration 2021 paper. It's called Flower and Field, and this is a representation of all the patterns that are shown on the designer series paper, both the front side and the back side. There's a list of colors that are on the paper, and if you want, you can just pause the video and look at what the colors are. So we're going to be using this piece of paper and this piece of paper today. So we'll start with this card. The base of the card is 5.5 by 8.5. It's scored at 4 1/4, and I flipped it over and scored it at 5.5. So we'll fold the card first in half this way, and then back this way. And I folded, when I did the score lines, I did one way, and I flipped it over and did the other one the other way, so that the bumps would be on the right side of the fold. So you can just crease those a little bit with a bone folder. Okay. So the pieces for this card are here. The matting piece for the image is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4, and that will just go directly on here. Okay, after I do my image. The side designer series paper is 1 inch by 5 1/4, and it gets adhered right here.
On the floor.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll stamp the image. I used Jar of Flowers stamp set. Go ahead and we'll stamp the image. I used Jar of Flowers stamp set. That's this stamp set. It's in the main catalog. The mason jar image is a two-sided stamp, so that you can stamp the jar and then fill the jar with water. So like stamp the jar full of water. Or you could do it with the half jar. Okay. So we are going to stamp the jar first. I will use Memento ink because I would be coloring with blends. So go ahead and ink up the image really well. Center it. Give yourself a little bit of space at the bottom. And stamp your jar for your flowers. Okay. Then we'll stamp the flower image. Again with Memento. Excuse me, I put my head in the video here to line this up. Stamping the flowers. And then we'll stamp the stems of the flowers. Again, Memento ink. Now, as I said, I colored it with blends, and this is what I ended up with. Okay. So we'll go ahead and put the card together. Oh yeah, when you're stamping with photopolymer, don't forget to use something soft underneath. This is a Stampin' Pierce mat. It is available. It's not listed in the catalog, but I can get you the number if you need it. So we'll put the card together. What we need to do is seal the inner edge of this card to the back. So I'm using Stampin' Seal Plus. I'll just run a strip, and to end it, I lift it up and pull back, and I'll just seal that shut. Then I'll add the designer series paper. Make sure my flowers go in the right direction. Okay, I will mat. There it is. I will mat the image onto a piece of black cardstock. And then mount the cardstock to the card base. You can put whatever greeting you like on the inside. That's up to you. I left the front blank, so it could be basically an anything kind of card. And then I'll take the piece of baker's twine, it's 18 inches. And just tie a bow. I did tie the other one with gold cord from the annual catalog, but it is too delicate to try to tie without using all my thumbs. Might not get this one tied either. We'll see. There we go. It's a little loose. I'll tie it better later. Just pretend it's tight. There we go. So that card's done. Either way, colored pencils, blends. The second card also uses Flower and Field Designer Series paper from Celebration. It starts with a piece of Designer Series paper that is 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. It can be basically any size as long as your height here is half of what the width is. So this is 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. So this is double what this is. So we start with the piece of Designer Series paper that you want the featured side. You want this side to show. You have it face up. You take your Designer Series paper and fold it in half. Match it up. Use your bone folder. Open it up. fold it in a quarter, fold it into the half mark. Use your bone folder again, crease it. Now this is the tricky part. You fold it, you turn it over so that the right side is facing down. You take the bottom left edge, corner, and bring it up to the fold line that you made at a quarter of the card. Okay. And you line it up and crease it. Unfold it, take the top left, and bring it down to that same score line. Line it up, the edge to that score line, and crease. Now you have this, okay? Now we need to make the top of the card, so we have to trim these edges. So what we need to do is find the center of the designer series paper, and if you want to use the centering ruler on the side, you just make sure you have the same number on each side of the 0 line and make a mark. Okay, then we're going to use our cutter. Pardon me. Use our cutter, and we're going to trim the top edge. We're going to take that little mark, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's right there, and we're going to line up the cutting portion of the Stampin' Trimmer and the fold line at the edge, and we are going to cut from one to the other. Okay, so the the halfway mark and the edge of the paper where it reaches the fold, and trim that off. And we're going to take the other side where the fold reaches the edge of the paper, line that up with the trough, line up the point, and trim. And if you've done your folds right, it should just fold right into place, like so. Okay. Now to stop it from bouncing up on you like that, we're going to take some Stampin' Seal Plus, and we're going to put it a little bit on the end here. Here. Okay, so we'll fold that back down so that it's secure. Okay, then we're going to take 2 pieces of cardstock. Both of these are 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. This is for the back, for the greening, and this is for the front, where the daisy goes. So I've got some cardstock here and the daisy punch. I'm just going to punch out 2 daisies, just to give it enough petals. Okay. This is the daisy punch, and it is in the annual catalog. I'm going to take a blending brush. Now, I bought these before Stampin' Up! Carried them, but we now have blending brushes, and they're just wonderful to use. So this is a different color than the Stampin' Up! Ones. This is Pool Party ink, and what you do with the blending brush is you dab it into your ink, dab it off a little bit so it's not such a harsh line, and then brush in the center. And do it again. Until you get the desired color you want. I just want a little bit of pool party in the center here, like the flowers are in the designer series paper. Use a circular motion. Okay, till it's how you like. We'll take some Tombow and we will glue these flowers together. Let them sit for a little bit so the glue takes. And I also will do a center for the daisy with saffron cardstock and a 1/2 inch circle punch. I'm not sure if this is still current or not. And this also will be glued into the center. I put a couple dots on the center of the daisy just to make it look a little bit more realistic. I used cinnamon cider alcohol marker blend, dark. Then I put the daisy onto the black cardstock. And this piece I put onto the back for signing. Kind of line it up there. And this gets put on the front. Now the words. I used a new stamp set and die. It's called Many Messages. This is one complete stamp. All the messages are on one piece of rubber. So how you work with this is you take it out of the case. You use your Stamparatus. I like to, I find with my Stamparatus I need a bit of a shim. So this is just a piece of chipboard that came with some paper. So make sure that's in the corner. I take my piece of paper, put it into the corner, make sure it's in the corner, put the magnet on, then I will place the stamp so that it's away from this edge and away from this edge, as far down as I can get it to stay on to the stamp area. And all these words will be stamped at once. So I'll attach it to the lid of the Stamparatus. Just going to make sure it's well adhered here, so I'm just going to press it in. Then I will ink it up with Memento ink. Nope, stays on, pardon me. I probably shouldn't bump the stand. So I'll just ink this up really good. Take the plastic out. Ink this up really good. stamp it. I'm using the Stamparatus so that if I have to stamp it more than once, I can do that. Press it down really well. Check it. Maybe a little bit more right there on the sending. So I'm just going to stamp the ink pad on that again. Press it again, and that's better. So I'll take this out, clean this up later. Now I've got both greetings that I'm using on this piece of paper. Now what you do is you take your Big Shot or your die cutting machine, whatever you have. You will take the die, and it's one big die, and you will line it up on the plate. What I do is I line up the stars and the hearts. I line those up first, and then I look at it and decide if it needs just a little bit of movement one way or another. So I just readjust, and I don't worry if the stars and the hearts don't line up, as long as the words are showing well. Okay, then we put it through the Big Shot. Your Big Shot will moan and groan and make crackling noises. That's a tough turn. But when you're done, look at all those greetings you have cut out. All ready for next time. So that's the die. So what I do is I've done this many times now just to make sure I'm doing it right. I have this little box, and I sort my greetings into the box, so I'll have them there for when I want to use them. So I'm using these two today. And we will just put them on with a bit of adhesive. I'll use Tombow glue. Just in the corner. Tuck it in. And use a bit of Tombow on this one too. Put it on the back. And there we have your card. You can just lay it out flat to sign it, and it's all ready to go. Square spring card. I did make another square spring card. It's this one here. This is using the art gallery stamp set and some gilded flakes, but it's just different designer series paper. Same idea, just different paper. So here's the cards. This one and this one. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.